Okay, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a Wills Gardner K7400 with horizontal hold problems. And based off the title of the video, I'm sure you're able to already ascertain that we know what the problem is. I took this out of the box and immediately I'm like, oh, well, there's the issue. I don't know for sure. I haven't powered it up or done any other inspection. I just kind of took it out of the box, noticed this problem and turned the camera on. So we'll find out later, I guess, but I do already see from looking at it that it has a partial cap kit. This one, and I think this one have all been replaced, but the rest of them haven't. So, like I mentioned before in the K7500 video, I don't like to replace caps for no reason. So if we turn this on and our issue is with the remote board, nothing else is wrong, it looks great, it works perfectly, has a great picture, I think we'll just suggest to not change the caps because there's no reason to if everything is working. But anyway, yeah, so we'll get to the point of this, that I took this out of the box and immediately noticed that we have a U2000 or U5000 remote board installed on a 7400. And you can't do that. It doesn't work that way. And the reason for that is that if we look at the remote board here, there is a horizontal hold pot installed on the remote board. Now on the 7475, well, the reason it's here is because on the U2000, U5000, the horizontal hold pot is not on the chassis. Unlike the 747500 has it on the chassis. H.HOLD's right there. So on the U2000, U5000, this is not there and some of the circuitry here is different. On the 747500, it is installed right there, and that it negates the necessity to have it here on the remote board. So when you have this double H.HOLD pot set up in circuit, you're going to have wonky things. Now, like I say, I have not turned this on or done any kind of testing with it yet. I just took it out of the box and immediately I'm like, oh, well, there's the problem. So I grabbed the remote board off of the 7500 that we repaired in the previous video. This belongs to the same owner. And you can see here that the remote board here does not have an H.HOLD pot because, like I say, it's mounted to the chassis on the 7475. So you cannot use these in, you can't swap these out. You can't put a 7475 on a U2000, 5000 or vice versa, because not only it's not just you can't just put a pot here and go about your business. If you wanted to use this for a U2000, 5000, and you put a pot there, it's not going to work because see how this one has a jumper across here, and if we look at the jumper trace, it runs up and goes right to, hang on a second, if we follow the trace, it runs, where's my pointer? Right here on this part of the jumper. It runs up this trace over and straight to this leg of the H.HOLD pot. So this jumper is part of the H.HOLD circuitry for the 747500 that changes how this functions for not having the pot here on the board. But on the U2000, 5000, you notice there's no jumper here, and we have a pot installed. So the circuitry on the remote board is different, so you can't just add a pot or take off a pot and use these, interchange them. It doesn't work that way. You can't do it. Well, you probably could with a bunch of modifications, but just plug and play, changing pots out and plug and play, no, you can't do it. So this is for the U2000, 5000 with the pot. This is for the 7475 without the pot. So you can't just swap these around. So I'm pretty sure that's the problem. So what I'm going to do here is off camera, I'll do a much more thorough inspection like I always do. Make sure nothing is physically wrong or broken or bent, and cracked solder joints, full reflow, all that stuff. Neck board included, it's in good shape as well. It's not too burned up. So, and then I'll change this out to the correct one. There we go. Now, of course, the owner of this will have to find himself a correct remote board because this is for the 7500 in the previous video. Paradise Arcade Shop sells these, and I'll put a link down below where you can buy these. They sell the K7400, the 7500, the K7000, and I don't know if they sell the 2000, 5000. I think so, but I'll look and put links below and you can see. But for testing purposes, we'll use the 7500 remote board, and that's fine because like I say, the pot is installed on the chassis here. So off camera, I'll do the full inspection, reflow as needed, and make sure nothing's wrong. And then we'll get it on a tube and see if our horizontal hold problem is gone, or see if it locks on. If we have a perfectly good working chassis, we'll call it good. And then just for demonstration purposes, we'll put this one back on and see what it looks like. So if you have that issue in the future, you can verify and make sure you don't have the wrong remote board installed. So let's go ahead and get all that done. When I come back, I'll have it on a tube and we'll be ready for testing and see what we get. Alright, so reflow work is done, inspection is done, didn't see or notice anything wrong, everything checked okay. I got all of the color pots set to 25% like I always have, and the drive pots are 50%. I was having issues with my high impact board, so we'll have to use our test pattern generator here, so no big deal there. We're set to standard, back from medium on the 7500 from previous, so we'll go to on. Oh, I forgot my power here. Every time I don't count out loud, I forget. Okay, yeah, anode neck, yoke ground video power remote with the correct one installed. And let's just make sure it turns on and works and we don't have any horizontal hold issues. And then we will, come on, you bugger, there you go. And then if that's correct, then we'll go ahead and hook up our meter, check our B plus and our shutdown pot. And then for just for purely scientific purposes, we'll put this one back in so we can see what it does. Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, snaps to life as we expected because it was working before. Let's see what we get here. Yep, don't see any hold problems yet. Yep, there you go. H position. We'll do right there. Do we have width control? We have width control. Vertical position is pretty equidistant. Vertical size, there we go. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong. Oh, I need to bring the position back down here a bit. Now it's as low as it goes, roughly there. Yeah, I'd say we're okay. Got all of our colors? Yes, we do. Well, there you have it. Works just fine, runs just fine, looks pretty good. I don't see any unnecessary lines or interference, or it's nice and clear. Good RGB. Good, well, convergence is the 2, but convergence looks good. I say it's good. So I have to use 2 hands here to get all this stuff set up. Actually, you know what? No, I don't. No, I don't. I was going to say I got to cut away here to set all this up, but I can get this done here. Let's see. Let's unwind the meter. And set the negative. Right here. Go to volts DC. Grab our positive lead that fell on the flow. Slip my hoe a 44 and she got in the back door. Alright, so now if we touch our B plus, which is, I think it's over here, I can't get to it. I can't get to it, but let's just grab right here off of the L100. 117. Hachi machi. So we're good for B plus. What's our shutdown? It should be 0.1. That's kind of far off there. 0.007. That's quite a far cry from 0.1. However, it's covered in glue, so I'm not going to be able to adjust it. But it's not shutting down, so you know, ideally it should be 0.1, but it's 0.007. Ideally it should be 0.1, but since it's not shutting down, the image is good, we have good B+, I'm not really going to worry too much about it. Obviously we should have our correct 25 volts for our vertical deflection, because we're, it's a bit low, it should be around 24.5, 25, but let's change the image and see what happens when you change the image, because it changes the voltage based off of that at 23.7. If we go back to like an all blue screen here, let's see what that does. Yeah, not worried about it. That's good. You know, we could have an R303 that's like 4 ohms instead of 1.2, but nothing really too bad to worry about. So we have a good working, good looking, perfectly operational K7400 now. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I would say again, based off of what I see here, I would not recommend changing caps because there's no reason to, because this looks pretty darn good the way that it is. And then I like to only change caps if, you know, if it's wigging out or you got distortion or waviness or some kind of other problem. You know, I'll do caps that way in that instance, or if the customer recommends it or whoever owns it recommends it. But I mean, for my personal collection and the way I like to operate, I haven't really done so in the past, but I've changed over the years. I've decided, you know, change my ways, and there's not really any reason to change caps if you don't have to, my opinion. But so now that we have a good operational working chassis, let's go ahead and turn it off. And just out of curiosity's sake, for purely scientific purposes, let's duplicate the way that it was running for the owner of this and see if I can hook this up here. There we go. And just, yep, for purely scientific purposes, let's see what happens when you have the wrong remote board installed. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Imagine that. So now if we were to take the correct remote board and install it again. Come on, you. There we go. Take that off, put the right one back on. There we go. And is it back to working? Is it back to working? I'd like to know. Yep, there we go. So there you have it, guys. Quick and easy tutorial and well, fix of this 7400. It just simply had the wrong remote board installed. So hopefully you learned something. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.